Hey guys, this is part 3 to reacting to the invis drama. So let's get right into it, because I know there's going to be a lot of controversy with me, this video, and what invis has to say. So chapter 3, what did invis say? I mean, invisible say. I'm tired of this.
What surprised me most in this whole story was that Invisible Narrative's response to our dissatisfaction, which I mentioned earlier, was something like this. I don't remember it word for word.
Well, if you don't remember it word for word, then why are you telling me?
Since it was said during a call, but the idea was basically, you can't judge after just one episode. Wait for more episodes. Your feedback has been heard. It'll get better. In short, as usual, typical surface level corporate bullshit. Instead of actually listening to the viewers, deleting this embarrassment, and starting over, they justify it and aren't planning to take any real action. If they really listened to our feedback, anyone in their position would have already done something. When I first heard that argument, my mind was in complete chaos, realizing how there's an intergalactic layer of vacuum between the company and the viewers when it comes to understanding the situation and interpreting the obvious. Because the problem isn't just one episode, it's deep and fundamental. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing. The Skibidi Toilet fandom is full of talented people they could have hired if they actually wanted to. But let's assume they didn't want an SFM series, since most of the fandom are SFM creators, and they supposedly wanted to make something different, not in SFM. That logic is extremely strange, but fine. Let's imagine there was no other choice, and that the people who animated it were literally the only ones on the planet who had Unreal installed. Then why are the story, the exposition, the basic color grading, and even the thumbnail all complete dog shit? Was there really not a single person in the entire fandom who could have taken care of all this if they couldn't? The plots of many fan-made what-if videos created by fans with zero budget and no film production experience.
You know, this so what he's pretty much saying is that invis his quality kind of sucks, and a fan that pretty much has no equipment is making all this stuff easier with pretty much, like I said, no equipment, no budget, nothing. Even another creator, even can make this stuff super easily. It's just the fact that invis doesn't really listen to us much. That's pretty much all this drama.
Have far more logic and look way more convincing than what was shown in Emergence.
In this video, I'm going to be making a 3D game in just 1 hour, but all the 3D assets in the game will be created by Hidden 3D.
Made by Adam Goodman's company, the same man who worked on Transformers. They not only failed to find normal animators, they completely messed up on every other level as well. Also, according to EBO's sources, the budget for...
Let's read this. Reliable international sources informs me that the production cost of Skibidi Emergency Toilet exceeds $100,000, a normal cost, since they're preferred to use large studios rather than specialized community animators, and that is creation took months, and yet it was a flop. How sad that Zach Dorr, another creator that actually worked with Boom. So I told him anything that he makes, I count as canon. Because I mean, he worked with Boom. Didn't charge, but these studios did. This source I'm referring to is the same one that helps me research the company Next Level Apps. In the past, fooling internet toilet. Oh, I see now. In the past, all of that is pretty much just what all that up there said. Sorry guys for me trying to read Spanish. I can't read Spanish.
Emergence was around $100,000, though it's unclear if that was for one episode or for several at once. For comparison, episode 47 by Dom Studio cost only $10,000.
To be honest, the entire budget for episode 47 of the multiverse is something around 10K. This is why I like this guy. This guy right here. I'm gonna tell you guys something. So the country they're in is currently in a war. So what they are doing right now is very dangerous. But they're just making the episodes and not focusing on the war that's going on in their country. And everyone's been telling them they need to have their own safety and stuff like that. But they are continuing to make episode after episode after episode. They are doing something very dangerous. That's why I like them. Maybe I'll do a reaction to their episodes in the future. But all I know is that their episodes are past 4 hours right now. And I don't got 4 hours to watch all of that. Actually, now that I think about it, I do. I'll just split it into multiple parts, pretty much. New episodes, I'll react. And also, I'm gonna just continue this, but I will definitely play some 2 Skibbity Toilet roleplay games in the very future.
10 times less, with far higher quality and a much longer runtime. The sources that helped EBO with the FZCO investigation have proven their reliability. So let's
WN EBO and his detective friend for finding very important and interesting information about next level apps. There's a lot of evidence in these files I absolutely had no idea about. Also, shout out to ISO Toilet for sharing it with his viewers.
Let's assume that number is close to reality, especially considering that part of the budget most likely went into switching to another program. But even if that's true, the question remains, why hire a big studio when the Skibbity animation community could have done it better and cheaper? If that number is real, then even from a business perspective, the decision is an absolute failure. What I mean is that handing over the production of a new Skibbity Toilet series to random people who only knew the characters from Wikipedia articles could only be done by a caricature-level shallow businessman. It's like if James Cameron came up to me and offered me to write the next Avatar movie. No matter how smart, talented, handsome, or
I haven't seen
kind
the
I might
new
be,
one, actually.
I'd make that Avatar so bad that the original fans would hate me and tear me apart. In other words, invisible narratives, who are dumping all this onto the channel and calling it a new era, know about Skibbity Toilet about as much as I know about some random franchise I watched once while eating popcorn. The stupidity of this
That's every
decision is made
franchise.
even worse by the fact that the fandom is full of talented people. And if halfway through at no stage of production, they couldn't realize that what they were making was garbage, that means they don't even understand what exactly is bad in Emergence. And all the mistakes I mentioned simply passed right before their eyes.
Okay, so that was very short. It's only been 8 minutes. I guess I'll continue watching this because it was actually like very short, and I wasn't expecting it to be that short. So the show must go on.
It's finally here, Skibbity Toilet 79, Part 3.
How do you know what's gonna happen, dude? I wanna look at the comments. Bro. I don't want no spoilers, bro. I haven't seen it. Let's watch it.
Jeffrey! Oh, hold on, Chet. What? I'm so confused by this episode, Chet. It's a little...
I'm sorry, is he showing us multiple reactions or is he showing us what Boom says?
It's different.
But it was an interesting episode. I think the animation definitely wasn't as good as I'm used to.
Why can't I see what's happening, bruh?
The new Skibbity Toilet toys are here. Take it.
That just ruined the episode. I can't even lie. That just ruined the whole episode for me. I cannot even lie, bro. I thought we were gonna see Titan Speaker Man sitting there looking all epic.
Bro, really expected to see Titan Speaker. To be fair, Boom doesn't show us most of the upgrade projects, upgraded Titans, including he did the same thing before also, kind of, at the end of a past episode. So him doing this now is just pretty much telling us, hey, we're going to see Titan Speaker Man in the next episode, or few. But he didn't show us Titan Speaker Man because he wants us to be curious.
Epic and shit. Okay, I like the first part of that.
I wasn't expecting him to say that.
Episode, the last part, I did not like. But anyway, chat, as always, though, I will say W Skibbity Toilet.
Mr. Boom has not yet commented on the situation anywhere, which made some viewers think he simply left.
He can't. It's in it's in the contract. He cannot speak about anything. Which, you know what? I'm gonna just say this. That's actually against the law. That's taking away his First Amendment rights. So that's against the law. They cannot do that. As a company, they cannot do that. That's like if I ended up hiring some people to help me with merch, which I am definitely planning to make in the future. This, right, and then I'm just like, okay, so, yeah, you cannot speak. You cannot speak. That is called taking away their First Amendment rights. So this is against the law. Invis could actually be put in jail. And also, Boom requesting his channel back, he should instantly have control over his channel again. They cannot just take an entire guy's channel. They cannot do that. No.
Left, gave up, or doesn't go online and doesn't notice what's happening. However, as my friends who up or does
Boom takes time to produce an episode. Community rushes him to post it. Boom rushed episode 70 free, episode 79 for free. Community hates him for it. Boom decides that he wants to please the community with fast uploads, so he brings on animators from Invisible Narratives. Plot episode gets dissed by community despite it being a plot. Boom does nothing equals hate. Boom does something equals hate. To be fair though, Boom, there is actually something actually really wrong with that up there. Boom take time to make an episode. Yes, that's actually Boom himself. He has control. Community rushes him to post.
go on.
So yeah, they do that. Boom posts rushed episode 79 for free, and community hates him for it. It wasn't for that, it was invis. He's on holiday, he's props, don't even know this is not even happening. I have spoken to invis. I'll let you read the bottom one when you want to, so take time, go ahead and read it.
Online and doesn't notice what's happening. However, as my friends who understand legal matters explained, he's most likely bound by a contract that includes an NDA clause, which forbids him from speaking out against the company.
I don't know what kind of conquest I might face for saying this. Maybe they'll even try to hit me with a strike, since the contract forbids me from saying anything against them. But if anyone tries to silence me, I'll keep you updated.
Includes an NDA clause, which forbids him from speaking out against the company. Otherwise, it could lead to legal consequences, especially now.
I'll let you guys read that.
Since there's an ongoing lawsuit against FZCO involving both him and Invisible. Technically speaking, any word he says could theoretically be used against him, so the version that his hands are legally tied seems the most plausible. The other explanations, that he's unaware of what's happening or just hasn't noticed, sound completely absurd, since in the past, he always communicated actively with the audience. So, considering all these factors, it's no surprise that he isn't speaking directly right now. However, as it turns out, he decided to make a smart move and reach us in another way. All my suspicions that something was off with episode 79 began after the release of its third part. And as you remember, in that older video I talked about the oddities in the story and animation. But it turned out that all these strange things happened because Boom hid a message for viewers inside the episode. And you'll soon see that for yourself. Several clues indicate that episode 79 isn't ordinary. For example, throughout almost the entire time surrounding its release, Boom pretended, and still pretends, to be an AI robot. Whenever someone asks him about the quality of the episodes, he responds in a very positive and generic way, exactly how Invisible Narrative speaks: corporate, sterile, and soulless. In one of the replies, he even attached a voice message where he used AI to mock that style of speech, saying that he isn't a robot.
I wish to officially confirm that I am not and have never been a clanker.
When those replies first appeared, many thought it was just another joke from Boom, but after Invisible Narratives started publishing their own videos on his YouTube channel, the events in episode 79 suddenly made perfect sense, and now it's time to rewatch it from a different angle. Let's start our detective investigation with some context, so we can connect what happens in episode 79 to real-life events.
So, before he probably makes us, like, react to it and stuff like that, go watch it yourself. Like, go watch everything else yourself. I don't want you being spoiled from it, because of this stuff. Because the episode, I personally thought it was good. I really didn't mind episode 79. I thought it was good. I liked it. The full version is where that draws my line, because there's stuff missing and I noticed it instantly.
Metaphorically, to remind you how much of a perfectionist Boom is in terms of quality and teamwork, let me tell you about a situation from episode 78. He decided to let animators Strider and Deer from Ohio, some of the top SFM animators, try to make that episode, but in the end, episode 78 was made by Boom himself. The description states that those animators were assistants, while Strider made a big post where he explained the situation in more detail.
Go read it yourself. I'll give you guys some time.
In short, it turns out that even though the animation turned out good, they had to pass on it. But in terms of character design, he's still working with Boom. Strider also adds that Boom wants to make everything as high quality and personal as possible, and you can't blame him for that. He's doing it for the fans. Judging by the description of episode 79, the same can be said about Deer from Ohio. Even though he isn't animating for Boom, he continues to work with him, and made the design of Watchmen of Doom and the location. In other words, it's important to Boom to control the series at every stage, so it remains author-driven and as good as we're used to. However...
Okay, the guy that designed Watchmen of Doom, good job. I like it a lot.
Along the way, he still hasn't found the right method of working with animators to get exactly the result he wants to see in a given scene, so he does the animation himself. We should also remember that before episode 78, he wrote to Ebio about the amount...
I'm absolutely separating projects on many projects to reduce lag, to give more memory space and apply new technology to the session. Graphics are definitely going to be improved from last episode. Here's what Ebio 75 said. You were putting your heart into this episode. It's good to work in what you like.
Amount of light, and that a new technology was being used for the new episodes. Thanks to this so-called new technology, episode 78 became the peak of image quality and richness for the entire series. Besides that, if anyone forgot, Boom has repeatedly spoken about the poor, unclear story from Dom's studio, and in episode 74, there was even a reference to their races where POV throws clocks, pencils, and drills off the table. And in his words, letting Dom Studio make a Skibidi series was a huge...
Boom has there been something you regret doing in the Skibidi Toilet series? If so, what is it? Allowing Dom Studio to cook. It's crazy. That is crazy. Wait. Skull emoji. Fire emoji.
huge mistake. That is, he even cared
Read that if you want to.
about the story in another universe that could potentially distort his series plot by showing the Astro toilets incorrectly, and so on. And these are just some examples I brought up to remind you. Boom has always put the authorial vision, the thing that makes Skibidi Toilet, first, and he kept improving it throughout the series' entire run. That has always been his priority, despite the long waits and viewers begging him to speed up. That's why I'm 100% sure that if Boom had creative control, he would have refused to let Emergence be published in such a disgusting state on his own channel. By the way, legally speaking, his channel, the one he developed all this time alone, most likely doesn't even belong to him anymore, so he doesn't have any leverage.
Fun fact, they actually So anyways, Invisible Narratives renamed Boom's channel from, well, what it was, it gave the Foog Boom, to now it is Skibidi Toilet, or Skibidi or something, I don't know. So yeah, Boom doesn't even own his own channel anymore. That's why I've been saying go check out Door Closer, Boom's OG channel. He'd been uploading stuff on there. He's cooking.
Leverage. Before Emergence was released, Boom posted a message saying that now the episodes would be made by an entire creative team of people who understand the DNA of Skibidi Toilets. That was an obvious troll toward Invisible Narratives, because not only do they not understand the DNA of the series, they don't even grasp the most basic things about the plot. And 5 days after the release of episode 79 part 3, a mysterious video appeared on the channel of Mr. Boom's friend, showing all 3 species characters without heads, set to sad music. That's clearly a reference to the situation where he has been completely stripped of control.
So Boom's friend let him have that channel pretty much, if I'm right. I don't know. I really do not know. I thought it was, some people have been telling me it was Boom's old channel, so even if it isn't, I mean, Boom has been uploading some stuff on there. He has been cooking. Still, go check it out.
Over his own series. The steering wheel is now fully in Invisible Narrative's hands, and all he has left are headless versions, since the rights belong to them, not him. And 2 days after the release of the full episode 79, the same channel posted a second short, but this time, the Skibidi Toilet characters are without toilets and also set to sad music. Whether Boom made that video himself or his friend did, doesn't really matter. The main point is that Door Closer wouldn't have published such a video without Boom's knowledge, knowing that his channel has always been seen in our fandom as connected to Boom. So that's another way of reaching out to the viewers. The title of those videos literally says, Incomplete. That refers to the fact that both episode 79 part 3 and the full version actually weren't ready for release. Apparently, Invisible didn't even let Boom properly finish the episodes, which is likely why he intentionally added those fart sounds every 2 seconds, maybe to show the viewers how little Invisible cares about quality, because if they actually cared, they would have noticed that sound before publishing and fixed it. By the way, the fact that they set a stupid and unrealistic deadline to crank out episodes weekly isn't just my guess. That's 100% confirmed. The company itself announced it on October 7th. Moreover, it's very likely that the recent videos weren't even uploaded by Boom himself, but by the company. Notice that in the descriptions of
Oh,
both
gee, yeah.
episode 79 part 3 and the full version, there's a small mistake that Boom had never made before. On YouTube, to tag another YouTuber and make their name clickable, you have to manually enter it each time. All previous videos on Boom's channel had correct descriptions, but starting with episode 79 part 3, the usernames stopped being clickable, which means whoever posted the video simply did Control-C and Control-V from the previous description, not even knowing that they had to type them manually. That's more proof that Alexi isn't even handling the uploads anymore. The company is doing it for him. And since the people working there have no clue how YouTube actually functions, even something as simple as a description was done wrong.
I had never put any credit to any of other YouTubers ever in my descriptions because I never knew you would have to do that in the first place. But there has been past times where YouTubers didn't do that either, so yeah.
Completely exposing them.
If your browser looks anything like mine used to, 20 tabs open, multiple windows, and emails buried, you know the struggle's real.
Guys,
That's exactly why I've
I
switched to Share.
would have bought YouTube's premium.
Another
It costs more
interesting
money,
detail.
and I broke.
Previously, Alexei almost never had ads at the end of his videos, and he didn't even include links to his own merch store in the descriptions. But now, suddenly, all recent videos are promoting the new fall toy collection, with the link literally everywhere, even under re-uploads of old episodes. Considering how awful the
So
transitions are in the full version of episode 70.
So they went back and did that? No way. No way. That is so cap. It doesn't affect anything that's on the actual app. No thanks. That is so cap. Take me to, told you guys, they renamed the channel. Oldest. If this is true, told you, super likey. Why did it put me onto videos? I was on shorts. Okay. I'm still gonna try and check this out. I'm still trying to check this out. I'm gonna pause it. Told you, I was gonna pause it. And why is it not loading? Okay, this is the good time. I will come back, edit this video, and let you know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones who did the final editing too, where all they had to do was just stitch the scenes together. And now we've reached the most interesting part. It turns out Alexi has been communicating with us all this time, and
Actually, it would have also been a lot easier just to. So this is personally what I do when I want to upload like full compilations of it. I would take the video, go into CapCut, take and combine all the videos together, delete the ending of the CapCut logo and stuff like that, and then upload it.
And the answer was right in front of our eyes. He was literally shouting about what's happening and how they're trying to erase him. As you've probably guessed, he was speaking to us through his own series and its story. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. Long before episode 79 was released, Boom, answering my question about what the UFO and G-Man talked about in episode 60, wrote that episode 79 would unlock a lot of new information and reveal many things. But when we watched episode 79 and saw nothing connected to that UFO G-Man conversation, it became clear that he meant something completely different. That hidden inside the episode itself was another message revealing something bigger. Here's another clue. When he replied to a fan's question about what episode 79 would be about, he said it would reveal some possibilities for the viewers. Yes, you heard that right. Back around episode 77, when TV Man Titan was infected by the parasite core, he directly said that episode 79 would include interactivity with the viewers. That means we, as viewers, were supposed to make a choice. And before the release of part 3, Alexei wrote that we needed to watch the episode to the end to understand him, since it was a build-up to something else. Now let me remind you of episode 79's plot. We're attacked by TV Man Titan, who is under the villain's control and can't control himself while he's asking us to forgive him. The villain, represented by Duchess, says that only power decides things, and that they'll seize everything by force. We also failed to negotiate a peaceful settlement. This is voiced by the Skibidi hybrid with a briefcase, claiming that the only way out is an attack. In the end, one of the soldiers takes the blame upon himself and dies, and he's replaced by a new version. No one notices the swap, because for many nothing has changed. Only POV Speakerman waves his hands and tries to explain that he noticed something strange. The detective then takes this evidence to investigate the case. And here's why this plot looks so much like what's happening in real life. I have a theory that everything Boom showed in episode 79 is a performance. Almost all of the characters' lines, their types, and the plot itself fit the current situation perfectly. That's why the episode looks so strange.
I feel like the Speakerman space is pretty much almost like the TV Man's.
When we watched it without context, before all the latest news. That's why it seemed confusing to many, which is confirmed by numerous reactions, breakdowns, and viewer comments. Now let's speculate on this topic. Who is who in episode 79, really? I think that Watchmen of Doom in this story represents Boom's channel, which was taken over by Invisible Narratives, the very one who's always positive but templated, answering only with set phrases. And what captured it is the core parasite. That's the very traitor that needs to be eliminated for TV Man Titan to return to the Alliance. Jeffrey in this play, as I see it,
Core Parasite is actually called the Core Crusher, if I'm right.
The main observer. After all, this dimension belongs to him, and he's the one who made Skibidi so popular. That's why I think Jeffrey is the power of the United Fandom. It's all the viewers of Skibidi Toilet. And that's why he can easily cancel anything at all. He's the decider here. That's why he is so powerful here, and his hand is even bigger than Doom himself. By the way, YouTuber Hot Sauce Beats conveyed the fandom's reaction to this scene perfectly, back when we still didn't understand what it really meant.
Who's Jeffrey? Is Jeffrey a new TV Titan of some sort? I mean, am I misseeing that? Did he just smack the Watchmen of Doom? Titan TV Man?
Doom, by the way, says directly that they now own this area, and Polycephaly TV Man, who most likely represents Alexei himself, couldn't defeat it alone. He's too weak to fight an entire Titan. The Titan represents his captured massive channel, the one he built with his own hands through years of work. He created a whole empire, and that empire turned against him because of the parasite, a symbol of the company. Too many coincidences with real life, right, guys? Jeffrey literally says that this is his universe. He basically predicted the fandom's reaction, that we wouldn't just sit idly by and watch them destroy his channel. That's exactly what Boom was talking about. This is direct confirmation of the viewer interactivity he mentioned, showing that we are also part of the story. As it turns out, the Skibidi Toilet storyline has now broken the fourth wall and is happening in real life. Until then, Jeffrey was just a secret character who appeared back in episode 78, and suddenly he became an all-powerful god. That doesn't fit the usual Skibidi Toilet logic, and that's why I'm 100.
Wait, then how did Jeffrey get trapped in there? Because he said, and also in some day, if you stand smoke for too long, then you will literally get stuck. So how did he get trapped?
Percent sure that Jeffrey, as he appeared in that scene, isn't a real character, but a metaphor, a reference to us, the viewers. The original camera woman, who blamed herself and died, symbolizes the original Skibidi Toilet era, and the new fake camera woman represents the new invisible era, the one we've been seeing for the last couple.
I would see is that pretty much due to the red screen, it got like he got tricked into thinking that camera woman's right there due to the red screen.
Couple of weeks. TV scientist and the detective personify the viewers who don't understand what POV Speakerman is talking about. No one believes him because he can't prove his words. The viewers see in front of them that camera woman seems to be standing there, and it looks like everything is fine. This creates the perfect alibi, because if you look only at what Invisible says, it really does seem like there's nothing suspicious going on. But how do you prove to the Alliance that this is a fake? That it's not the same thing as before? That's where cameraman detective appears, who tries to figure it out, having all the facts. Meanwhile, in this performance, the original camera woman admits that everything happened because of her. She disappeared not because of an external enemy like the Astro.
So the original camera woman was Boom, pretty much. So when the camera woman saying, "It's my fault, it was always my fault," she's pretty much, Boom is pretty much saying, "It was my fault, I shouldn't have signed that stuff long ago. Then I would pretty much have control over my channel still." And the new one, aka Invisible Narratives, is like, "What are you talking about? We're not forcing Boom to do any of the blah blah blah," and all that type of stuff. So that's pretty much what is going on.
Toilets, but because of her own reckless actions that led to a traitor inside the Alliance, the Parasite Corps, referring to how Alexei himself signed that deal with Invisible back in 2023. But if, like me, you don't have enough confidence to believe in such an absurd situation that's taking shape, then here are even more clues. On Boom's Discord server a long time ago, a new text channel was created called TV Franchise, where he was genuinely happy that Skibidi would soon become a whole franchise, essentially confirming even then that new projects were coming, like this new Emergence series, and the fandom was also very inspired by this news. However, after some time, he removed TV Franchise from Discord, and even wrote a message like this, which says he's upset that he doesn't see any progress on the movie, at least he isn't getting new updates on it, and moreover, he isn't involved in the process or any details. The second message contains even more details. Let me quote it in full. There was also more recent idea to make sort of short project on their end, kind of collab, and this idea is in some sort of stage at least for a half a year now. It's like Noon is working, or at least Noon is transparent about it. I'm completely isolated from process. No concepts, no updates. Something imprecise and blurry was described on the phone about it. I see.
Okay, I was very disappointed and upset recently, bros. I feel like the movie is not being made, at least. I have not received any updates, like I was saying, part 1, on it. I have not seen any revisions. We're not involved in discussing in any detail, just nothing. There was also more recent ideas to make sorts of short project on their end, kind of like collab. And this idea is in some sort of stage, at least for half a year now. It's like no one is working, or at least no one is transparent about it. That I am completely isolated from the process. No concept, no update. Something in piercing and blurry was described on the phone about it. I see bits of scripts and that's it. I feel like a fool. I'm in a fool. My hope is dying of in me and speed up now.
Seen bits of script, and that's it. I feel like a fool. My hope is dying with immense speed now. Let me remind you that after this, Michael Bay posted a video where he says the process is ongoing and we'll see something soon. And Boom wrote that he talked to Bay and now he's back to having an understanding, as he even made a cool little animation where he celebrates that news. It gives the impression that he gets details about the movie very rarely. Of course, in those messages, Boom was talking mainly about the movie, but seeing what problems Emergence has in animation and story, then in my opinion, it's possible the same problem, where he was barely involved in the production process, happened here.
Maybe instead of them working on anything that's on the channel, they're currently working on the movie more. So that's probably why we haven't seen it much of anything on the channel currently. That's probably explaining a lot more.
It's not out of the question that the small project mentioned is Emergence, but we don't know for sure. If the result and quality of the new series were, let's say, on the level of Murder Drones or close to it, and if the storytelling were properly linked to the main series and better than Boom's series, that'd be a different conversation. I'm sure that in that case, Boom must regret signing such a terrible contract. And when we see a new official series that feels more like a bad fan project instead of the quality viewers expected, that's exactly what the fandom dislikes. And lately, Boom has been replying more often that he doesn't know what will happen next when asked about future storylines. That indirectly confirms once again that they don't listen to him and do whatever they want with the series. Even the future of the story is completely in their hands. Another very strong confirmation that Boom supports our Bring Boom Back movement was this message from Door Closer's channel during Zach Door's video premiere, where he wrote, "Absolute cinema." When a sequel is...
Actually, part 5 tomorrow, where we'll finally watch the rest of it. Peace out, guys. Hope you have a good day. And I'm definitely going to end up laying down on my bed and pretty much not do a lot. You know what, actually? Before we cut out, let's see. Okay. Oldest. No. Okay, so that sure doesn't even have a description. Let's see. If we go to latest, okay, so it seems like no. Most of that video was wrong. They really haven't gotten back on the shorts. Although, yeah, they did end up renaming the channel. But anyways, hope you guys have a good time. Peace out. And part 5 tomorrow. Peace.